Joe Biden's car crash interview with George Stephanopoulos over his Afghanistan catastrophe did not show a US president just out of touch and in denial, but also one who was cold-hearted and without any sense of compassion for the humanitarian disaster he has just unleashed on helpless Afghans. Take a look at his astonishing reaction when the ABC News anchor asks him about those chilling and unforgettable images of desperate folk falling from the sky as they tried to cling to evacuating planes.
We've all seen the pictures. We've seen those hundreds of people packed into a C-17. We've seen Afghans falling.
That was 4 days ago, 5 days ago.
What did you think when you first saw those pictures?
What I thought was we have to gain control of this. We have to move this more quickly. We have to move in a way in which we can take control of that airport. And we did.
So you don't think this could have been handled, this actually could have been handled better in any way? No mistakes?
No, I don't think it could have been handled in a way that we're going to go back in hindsight and look, but the idea that somehow there's a way to have gotten out without chaos ensuing, I don't know how that happens. I don't know how that happened.
So for you, that was always priced into the decision?
Yes.
Unbelievable. Biden's first reaction when reminded of the fact that Afghans were literally falling from the sky was not, "Those poor souls, why on earth did I ignore the advice of my generals regarding such a dramatic and immediate exit?" Instead, "That was 4 days ago. That's over, George." Well, that reaction shames him. So soon into his term, this is Biden's Vietnam. The world will not forget his catastrophic strategic errors, which has damned America and will empower bad actors like China and Russia. But the world will also never forget his chilling lack of humanity. Let me start by saying I'm delighted Dominic Raab took a foreign holiday this summer. It's exactly what I called on cabinet ministers to do earlier this month. Holiday shaming must end, and it sets a good example to the rest of us that our tourism and aviation industry is returning. But if your foreign secretary and a war we've been a part of for 20 years is coming to an end, costing the lives of 457 British Forces personnel in the process, then you better be prepared to quickly get off the beach in Crete and return to Downing Street before Kabul fell. The Foreign Secretary didn't do that fast enough, and disturbingly, it's now emerged he handed off to a junior minister the important duty of attempting to secure free passage for our peerless and at threat Afghan interpreters by phoning Afghan Foreign Minister Mohammed Hanif Atmar. That simply wasn't good enough, and it's a decision I'm sure he already deeply regrets. Despite the Foreign Office saying in a statement the Foreign Secretary was engaged on a range of other calls, and this one was delegated to another minister. Wars and terrorist organisations like the Taliban don't respect the British summer holiday. Now, the great British inventor and billionaire entrepreneur Sir James Dyson, the man behind Dyson Limited, you know the company. He knows more than virtually anyone in the UK about how to get a workforce to achieve miraculous things together. And guess what? Mr. Dyson agrees with me that such feats across most industries can only be achieved if Brits collectively agree to get off their bums and return to the office. In a brilliant column for the Daily Telegraph today, I couldn't have written it better myself, actually, Dyson demands that Boris Johnson and the government take the less popular decision and unequivocally lead people back to offices and workplaces, just like they have sporting arenas, music festivals and nightclubs. So this is what James Dyson wrote today. In a fast-paced global world, teamwork, collaboration and rapid learning are vital. Britain's competitiveness and the chances of the next generation will suffer if the workforce remains at home. It is also increasingly hard to learn, develop and grow when in isolation. Britain's competitors have kept forging ahead, maintaining higher workplace attendance despite the pandemic. We risk creating a two-tier workforce with those at home becoming less and less effective, leaving those diligently attending the workplace to drive the business forward. At the start of the pandemic, the Prime Minister, in ordering people to work at home, removed from firms the right to determine how best to organise their own teams. He should restore that right and do everything possible to lead Britain back to the workplace, unpopular though that might be with a proportion of the population. Dyson's right, He put it brilliantly. The man knows about business. And look, the silence and complacency from Boris Johnson and Rishi Sunak on the refusal to go back to work has just got to end. Now, how despicable that Harry and Meghan's sycophant, OMID SCOBIE, is now spreading bile about the Queen in an updated edition of his hagiography, Finding Freedom. Crassly, by the way, being released, wait for it, on the anniversary of Princess Diana's death. After that Oprah interview, we all remember what Harry and Meghan said. The Queen released a tasteful and considered statement, even though her husband, Prince Philip, was dying in hospital. So this is what the Queen said. Let's just remember what she said at the time. The whole family is saddened to learn the full extent of how challenging the last few years have been for Harry and Meghan. The issues raised, particularly that of race, are concerning. While some recollections may vary, they are taken very seriously and will be addressed by the family privately. Harry, Meghan and Archie will always be much-loved family members. But this bloke SCOBIE writes of the Queen's statement, those three words, recollections may vary, did not go unnoticed by the couple, who a close source said were not surprised that full ownership was not taken. Months later, and little accountability has been taken, a pal of Meghan's added. How can you move forward without that? As I wrote in a column for the Mail Online today, the Queen does not need to take full ownership of anything she didn't do, and the couple told Oprah it wasn't her who made a comment about their as-yet unborn baby's skin tone. And until Harry and Meghan provide proof of racism, there's nothing more the Queen can do apart from talk to her relatives, which she has already promised. All the dishonourable duo have achieved by allowing their inner circle to collude with this author is heaping further pain and pressure on the grieving Queen, and that's nothing to be proud of. Those involved with Finding Freedom 2.0 should hang their heads in shame.